Hey guys, welcome to the D&Y Podcast. I'm your host Yassine Mustafa with my co-host Dimitri Magnan, and today we're bringing you a fresh new podcast in the D&Y, and we're going to be talking about something very important, which is imagining worst case scenarios and how that can actually keep you stuck in life and make things worse for you. So stick around because this one's going to be fire. Make sure to like and subscribe while you're at it. And Dimitri, I want to ask you, how has your week been? How have things been? How's life?
Very well, very well. Spending some time with family out here in France, although it is very rainy. I haven't seen that in a long time, but still, that's not a reason to be in a bad mood. And so, yeah, it has been very well. A little less on the work side, but that's gonna be on off for next week. I'm traveling back tomorrow, so that's
Safe
very well.
travels.
How's it going on your side?
On my side, it's good, man. I spent this whole week making content. I'm still not done. I'm preparing because Ramadan is on its way. So I've put like reach outreach on hold for now. I told myself the priority is content because when you're fasting, it's gonna be hard to do the voice and stuff. So you gotta do it all ahead of time. I did that, and I
Good.
did also my Richard Banking characters content. So if you guys want to check that out, I'm a little bit more um, how do you say this? Aggressive in that content. So check it out if you want. And yeah,
We'll put the link to that profile in the description. It's more like a funny comedy style videos. I would say
yeah,
that describes it well.
that does.
So definitely check that out if you're having a bad day and you need something that's
Yep.
maybe make you change your mind up a bit. So yeah,
Yeah. But I'm pretty happy that we're doing this podcast now. Although my computer broke, like screen broke, we're able to do it. That's the mindset, guys. That's pushing through no matter what happens. Showing up.
yeah, exactly. Um, I mean, if you want to, we can get into the the topic already, unless you have anything else to say in the beginning.
We forgot about the wisdom nugget, bro.
Oh, we forgot, almost forgot about that. Um, yeah, I would say mine's that if you sometimes have busy parts in life or moments where you got to do something else than work,
Mm,
um, you just got to make sure that the work still gets done. So even if that means that you have to get the work done in the evenings, or if you have to get the work done in the weekends, you got to just make sure you get it done. So yeah, I would say working at all the times, even if it's not only 9 to 5.
mm, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. That's a good one. Especially when you're working with clients and you have to deliver stuff for them. That's pretty important. Um, for me, the wisdom nugget, there could be a few, but I'm gonna pick the one that impacted me the most this week, or I was like, oh, that's interesting. Um, I've been doing a lot of like more for my driving exam that I'm gonna have soon. I've been doing more driving lessons, but a lot of them have been earlier. I've been having just in general a lot of appointments in the morning, and it's been compressing my days. But despite that, I've noticed I've been able to wake up earlier and I feel more productive. Like things get done quicker, and that's when I realized sometimes in life when you're actually more busy, you're more productive because you spend less time overthinking. You spend less time trying to be a perfectionist and you just get it done. And I'm hoping after that driving period passes, I'm able to recreate something like maybe put my exercises in the morning to force me to wake up early. Because I noticed when you have something that you find hard to skip in the morning, um, you're gonna get your ass up regardless of how you feel.
Absolutely, that's where that's the good part of stress, when it pushes you to do more in a shorter period of time. It needs to be balanced, because if you have too much stress, especially with doing creative things, or especially if you have to do things where you need to be precise, you still got to make sure that you do the things the right way and to a certain quality. In creativity, it's difficult to push creativity. There's methods to increase creativity and like still push it a bit, but you can not push it too far. And if you have too much stress, the quality can decrease a lot, and that can be dangerous.
Yeah, that's a
If you're
good
trying
point.
to achieve things, and then the quality decreases a lot, or you make more mistakes than before because you have less time. So you gotta find the balance between those two. But if you have nothing to do all day and you have no stress, you're also not gonna get shit done.
Yeah, you're right about the creativity part. Um, I've noticed that sometimes I've had to tell myself now is not the time to get another client, because if we did that, we're gonna screw this guy. So keep it at that. Or now,
Yeah, and if you have to decrease the quality for the other ones,
yeah,
that's not the
it's not smart.
no. And but what you can do in those cases, when you have the opportunity to increase the client base, is to find other ways to make your work more efficient, but by having newer methods, or you try to use AI to automate certain parts, or you use certain tools to automate a part of your business, or you hire a freelancer that helps you with specific parts of your tasks. As I said last time in the call, not in the call, in the podcast, you gotta make sure you tackle the things that take you the most time first, and not the things that make you the most money. Because if you spend, I don't know, 5 hours every week on accounting, then you gotta make sure you take help from someone that does your accounting, because that's eating up a lot of your time.
Yeah, we hired someone for our thumbnails. He's called a thumbnail bot. He's been doing a pretty good job. So
It's called AI.
anyway, man, we should get into the topic at this point.
We should definitely get into the topic. All right, let me share my screen.
Again, it's from the podcast. If you haven't checked it out, I recommend you do, or at least try to get the transcript and translate it of the actress Yasmin Al-Abd with on AB Talks. It's a pretty good podcast, and if you speak Arabic, definitely check it out.
يعني قادرة تتحملينها، ما تكوني مضغوطة، no burn out. كيف؟
أنا باخدها يوم بيوم. يعني أنا كنت يعني دايما متعودة إن أنا باخد لوكشة أو بفكر في يعني مثلا الشهر اللي جاي، واقعد ابانك بقى، اللي هو ده في كميه حاجات محتاجه اعملها وانا مش هقدر اعمل كل ده، وانا مش قد ده، مش قد هذه المسؤوليه خالص. واكتشفت ان ده غلط قوي، لان ما اعرفش ايه اللي هيحصل بكره. فيعني خديها حتى ساعه بساعه. فبقيت باخد كل حاجه خطوه خطوه وبالراحه.
This is a very good piece of advice. Especially I find it if you're someone like me who finds himself thinking so much about the future and overthinking and what is going to happen. Very tactical, trying to stop every problem before it even happens. I think taking it day by day is something I've started doing myself, where yes, I have an idea of where I want to go, but I focus on achieving my goals, input-based goals, day by day, and that's what matters. And take it as the day comes, because sometimes you think today is going to be a day where you wake up at 10 out of 10, you're going to have no meetings, no interviews, nothing, and then something pops up, no getting sick, whatever. So I started taking it one day at a time and giving my best. That's all that matters. That's all that matters to God, and it should be what you have as a standard for yourself. The other thing that came to my mind here when she was talking about this was to stop imagining the worst case scenario. This is one thing that helps with that, is to take it one day at a time. But when you imagine the worst case scenario, sometimes you even like might actually bring it to life, because maybe, let's say I imagine that me and my parents were gonna, or me and Dimitri were gonna have an argument today, then because I'm telling Dimitri something that I like, bringing up to him something I've never talked to him about before, we're gonna have like a sort of confrontation, an argument. The way I think about it, if I start thinking from the start, I start playing the scenario in the worst case scenario, and I imagine Dimitri's going to be rude, and Dimitri doesn't want to listen to me, and Dimitri's not going to want to hear what I'm talking about. I'm going to come in with a certain attitude, and that attitude is going to push Dimitri. Dimitri's going to pick on it, and he might start acting that way, like I imagined. Or I might start putting meaning to his words that he didn't actually mean. Like maybe he said, no, bro, I don't agree with you. If I imagine the worst case scenario, and I imagine Dimitri is being rude and stuff, and he's just against this idea, I might imagine, oh, he's just against it because he's against it. He doesn't have I might not listen to his reasoning. And so you might create that worst case scenario in that sense. But sometimes also by imagining that worst case scenario, you live in it before it happens. And so your actions subconsciously lead you to acting in that way that brings this worst case scenario to life. A good example would be driving. If you think the driving's going to go bad and you're stressed out, well, then when you're going to go driving, you're probably going to fuck up because you're going to be all stressed and you're going to tense up like this on the wheel. I know that because I used to do it. You're going to tense up on the wheel because you're scared to hit someone, and you're going to end up making dumb mistakes. You're going to end up spending too much time in your head and not focusing on the road, and then that's when accidents are likely to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very important point with that, because if I say to you, don't think of an elephant, the first thing that pops up in your head is an elephant.
Yes.
And humans cannot think in negations. And for example, skiers know this, that when they ski down, a mountain and there's a lot of trees, they ski through like narrow spaces of trees. If you always tell yourself in your head, don't hit the trees, don't hit the trees, don't hit the trees, you're gonna hit a tree because all you're thinking about is trees.
Yeah.
And you gotta think of, hey, where's the space that I can go, and then make your way through that. And it's the same thing with pilots that have to navigate with their planes through narrow spaces.
Yeah.
If you always tell yourself, don't hit the obstacle, you're gonna hit it.
Yeah.
And that's why you should imagine the good outcomes, and it's more likely to happen. But if you always think negatively and you're very pessimistic in your head, it's way more likely to happen than if you think about the good outcomes and the way it could point out. Because, as I said, for us humans, it's impossible to think in negations. If you see what I'm trying to tell, for everybody watching, let me know if you were able to not think of an elephant. But I'm pretty sure most of you had an elephant in your brain or in mind when I talked about it.
Yep. Yeah, and the same thing, man, with people. Like, my point earlier, I think I didn't articulate it well enough, but I was saying, don't project too, because sometimes when you imagine the worst, especially in conversations with humans, with people, where it might be out of your comfort zone, you've never talked about this before, you feel like the person's going to disagree with you. If you project, you can escalate the whole thing without even meaning it. Whether it's your body language or whether it's, I tell you, yo, bro, you always do this every single time. I give you an idea, you never listen to me, you're so arrogant. I've just escalated it because maybe you just didn't agree with me, but I decided to, because I thought you were arrogant and you were saying no because you are arrogant with me, you don't like my ideas. I said it out, and now you're gonna resist instead of listen. So it's also that. Did that make sense, bro? Or am I just...
Yeah, that made sense.
Okay.
That made total sense.
And then...
and you're gonna put yourself into a downward spiral. The more negatively you think,
Exactly.
the more it's gonna tear you down into a negative spiral, and it's also very dangerous to think that all of the things that surround you are the reason why you cannot reach or do certain things. Always finding the excuses with other people, that's very, very dangerous, because if you always think all the other people are the reason why you cannot do it, you're not in control of the situation, and then there's nothing you can do in your own mind. But if you always think, or that's what I'm trying to do, is to think, what could I do better, what could I do differently to make sure that doesn't happen again, or that I can do better next time, rather than try to think what the others could have done better.
Yeah,
It's always easy to think that the others are the reason.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. And another thing, Dimitri, I could add as well to like that helped me with the stop imagining the worst case scenario is just trusting God more. You know, a lot of people, young me included, have faith, and it's important to pray and stuff, especially when you believe in it. But it's also important to trust. Like, and this is where you see the difference between faith and control, because control is I need to know and control what's going to happen. Faith is I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I trust myself and I trust God that I'll figure it out and be able to manage it, and that as long as I do my best, everything will be fine. So that's also something that helps with stopping to like not imagining the worst case scenario. And even if you end up imagining it, when you have that thought, you know you'll be fine, and that and imagine that God will do what's best for you and help you, especially if you do your part and try. Because if you believe in God,
I think that do your own part is very important.
Exactly.
Because at least for me, that I'm not very religious, or not religious at all. That's the point, the way to put it. Sometimes I see that we tend to think that religious people put everything on the hands of God and think, oh, he's gonna do everything, he's gonna give me money, but it's important to do your own part, because if you're bad to other people, you don't work, you don't do anything to earn money, and you're not gonna get far in life. So my principle is more do and give without expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
And then things will come back to you eventually.
I agree with you. And what I was saying, I actually think it's a good point you mentioned this, because there's a lot of people that just, they pray but they do nothing, right? And that's not how things are supposed to work. There's always a part that's on you to do as well. But what I was saying is, like, when you do your part, and you're someone who believes in God, trust that it'll be fine. Have faith, things will work out and you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. But of course, you have to do your part. So, yeah, that was my point regarding that. But,
yeah, I think that's very important, and yeah, there's nothing more for me to add. I was thinking of something, but
yeah, take your time. I mean,
that's all I had to add. That's all I had to add to it.
Yeah, I think, I don't know about you, but I think this idea, I mean, at least for me, this idea of taking things day by day definitely helped. It doesn't mean I don't write down what I want. I wrote down my New Year objectives, although I like to call them New Year input objectives instead of just output ones. I have some output ones, but I focus mostly on the inputs. But I also kept it flexible in the sense where I'm more concerned with getting the day by day stuff done and the accountability and the weekly stuff done, because you never know. Last year we didn't think we were going to do a podcast, but we did it out of the blue. That was a new responsibility, a new idea that came to us, and we did it. Richard Reacts, that was also something I didn't think I was going to do that, but I ended up doing it. So the voice acting as well, So
Yeah, I think having a big picture of what you want to achieve in life. I mean, I like yearly goals, sure, but I prefer always having a reason in the back of my head of, hey, this is what I want to achieve in 5 or maybe 10 years down the road. This is what I want my life to look like. And then on the day-by-day task and things I do, like, is this the person I want to become, or is this... And when you do things you maybe don't want to do in the certain moment because you don't want to work, or, I mean, we all have days where we just don't have the motivation. That's just part of it. And on the days where you don't have the motivation, think of the reason why you're doing it, and maybe it's for your future family, or it's for whatever your big life goals are. That's how I like to think, not necessarily in, hey, this year I want to achieve this, or this year I want to do this. Sure, I have some of those things, but more for the bigger picture, and then take things day by day, because we underestimate what we can do in a year, but we overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, I don't have much to add to that, honestly. It's a pretty good point.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we can close it here, unless there's something inspiration that popped up in your mind right now. But
that was all the inspiration that popped up in my mind.
He painted everything on the canvas already.
Yeah, that was what I had on top of my head today.
But yeah, guys, let us know in the comments, and if there's a certain topic you want us to dive into a little bit more, tell us in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. And now we're going to do the part that is very important, the gratitude part. And please feel free to do it with us and let us know what you're grateful for down below in the comments.
Absolutely. I can start. So the first thing is I'm very grateful to still have grandparents alive that are and it's always great to spend time here and have good food and good conversations on here. I'm very grateful because I know people don't have grandparents anymore and they wish they could talk to them again or have a meal with them or do whatever they want with them. So that's very important. Then I'm very grateful for my girlfriend as well, that has been a great blessing last year and will be also in the rest of this year. And very grateful to live in a country like Switzerland where it seems like everything is in order and everything is just run, and it is truly a blessing.
It's a very strong list. I'm very grateful also to have my grandparents, and honestly all of my family, because some people don't even have their parents, and so I'm grateful to have all my family, thank God. And I'm grateful to the fact that I have a studio now. I mean, I have a lot of the equipment that I dreamt of having when I started this voiceover, so I'm glad that a lot of it, including the studio, was brought to life. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the fact that I have very supportive friends that help me with my craziness and with my dreams. And I could tell them, hey guys, I'm doing a voiceover, I'm gonna switch to voice acting now, or doing Richard reacts, and I'm like, bro, let's go. Here's some ideas, I got you. Or hey bro, you want to start a podcast like we did with Dimitri? And they're like, let's do it. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's true. All right, as we said, tell us what you're grateful for in the comments. I think it's always a great exercise to zoom back and think, hey, my life's not actually that bad, because sometimes we tend to be a bit pessimistic. And as Yassine said, thank you very much for watching, and like, subscribe to the channel to not miss future episodes.
Yep.